Welcome to Charmed Life, a radio show discussing spirituality, magic, and the unconditional love of the universe. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm your host, Tricia Carr. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Charmed Life. I don't know, I think this is about episode number 46 or something like that. Ooh, that's a lot of episodes, Jarvis. We've known and loved each other for at least 46 weeks. Yeah. Isn't that nice? And Jarvis Essex on the ones and twos. That's not what he's on at all. He's not DJing. Hey, maybe. You never know. You never know how the show's going to go. Jarvis is my producer, making this show fun and beautiful and also holding down the energy as the healer that he is. And we're always just working back and forth telepathically. And we're all here to love you and love on each other. So I want to tell you a big fat welcome if it's your first time joining me. And you can watch this show live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific. We broadcast from the Universal Broadcasting Network studios in the lovely Sunset Gower studio in Hollywood, California. And we do it live at 11 a.m. Pacific, so you can call into the show if you're watching this in an archive. And we would love for you to call into the show. We do some readings here, some counseling, just some loving on each other. So I appreciate you all so much. And then if you're watching live, in case you didn't know, you can watch the archives, the replay of this show, as well as other content that I post in my YouTube channel. And that's youtube.com/Tricia Carr. What else? Podcast version of it, iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. We're on iHeartRadio. So I hope you will find us and you will like, comment, share, because that is just bringing in more light. That is engaging. That is setting intention for us to vibrate to love, which is what I'm going to talk about today. Pardon me while I take a sip. I have here in my coffee cup, if you're watching live, with my little metal stainless steel straw, I have just some nice, delicious water, a pinch of sea salt, and some peppermint oil. That's what I have in there. It's better than coffee. It doesn't make you too jarred, but it does keep you invigorated. All right. Well, actually, I want to talk to you guys about a couple of things that I'm offering, or that. Excuse my microphone's messed up on me. A couple of offerings. First of all, I want to tell you about my friend Hillary Michaels. She's been on the show a handful of times, and she's actually going to be on the show again in November 19th, the show in November. And I'm so excited to have her on again. She's amazing. She's not only my friend, but she is one of my original mentors. She basically makes mediums. She's an amazing medium herself, and she was the first teacher that I went to after having learned about my these dormant abilities and kind of having a metaphysical opening, or the spiritual awakening or ascending process that we talk about in the consciousness community. Or if you guys are here, you probably are experiencing this yourself. And so I went to Hillary because she was teaching an empath class at the time. And so, but then I started doing her mentoring for mediumship. Hillary was let me back up. So I had learned that I was an empath. And then in my coaching to be a healthy empath, I opened up to an ability to communicate with animals telepathically. To long story short. And so when I came to Hillary, I had been experiencing my animal communication and practicing it a little bit. I wasn't practicing professionally yet, but I had been practicing with other people's animals and just exploring this ability and kind of developing my own technique and reliable use of this ability, this spiritual gift. So I go to Hillary and she's like, now tell me about what your background is and what are you doing here? And I was like, oh, I'm an empath and animal communicator. And she does an ability assessment at the beginning of this class. And she's like, well, you're a medium. And so you guys know this was less than 3 years ago. And here I am up on, an internet TV talk show and a radio podcast show, doing, teaching like on the level that Hillary does. But Hillary tells me you're a medium, and I was like, well, I don't know if I believe in that, which is weird at this point. But I didn't really have a worldview that included something like that. But Hillary astutely pointed out, and she's like, wait, you said you've been practicing animal communication, right? And I was like, well, yeah. And she's like, have you been speaking to people's past animals, the animals who have passed on? And I was like, oh, well, yeah. And she's like, guess what? If you can talk to dead animals, you can talk to dead people because you're a people and you actually have things in common with humans. So that kind of was a funny adjustment that I hadn't noticed. But I started taking her mediumship mentoring program, and lo and behold, here I am, living proof that, as Hillary says, absolutely anyone can be a medium. If you're interested in it, if you have a desire for it, then it is a skill and a gift that you can uncover. I mean, it's just a form of communication with a very real and powerful and high vibrational, meaning very loving, a part of our existence. It is us. It is natural. It's the larger part of us is actually soul, oversoul, all up there hanging out with our past loved ones. And so Hillary is just an amazing teacher. If you've listened to many of my episodes of Charmed Life, you'll probably have noticed me gushing over Hillary as a teacher and as a mentor. And so I want to tell you guys about her program. She does a month-to-month mentoring program for mediums. Basically, she takes you from zero to professional, and you can stay in her program as long as you feel is necessary. She does it remotely, so you get to practice your abilities with readings that she arranges. She does them by phone, and so anyone all across the world can be in Hillary's mediumship mentoring program. And she's worked with hundreds of students that have become professional mediums. And then, some folks just do it so that they can just expand their spiritual experience and how they actually practice. And that's wonderful too. Just to be able to connect with your own loved ones, or to help the people that are in your life, your loved ones here in the body too. So basically, if you are interested, I would love for you to go and check out Hillary's website. She also does one-on-one readings still as a medium. She's amazing. And her website is happycentric, happycentric.com. Happycentric, HAPPYCENTRIC. So go check out Hillary. If you're curious at all about communicating with our loved ones in the light, go check out Hillary's program. And the second thing I want to tell you about, which leads right into my topic today, is a program that I am offering, and I'm super excited about this. It's called Empowered Empath and Highly Sensitive Intuitive. So this is a training for folks who are experiencing overwhelm from their emotions. And if you feel like you are a sponge to thoughts, emotions, energies. If you find yourself, it's for people who are very creative too, because you're very sensitive when you, as a creative person. And if you find yourself not being able to feel very functional because of what you observe going on in the world, and in right now we have so much going on with the different kinds of environmental traumas with Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Irma, the fires that are happening in various places. And that's just in our nation, not to mention the worldwide conflicts and suffering that we observe. And I just want to tell you that isn't the way that we are meant to live, in the suffering, to where we feel that we can't do anything about it. And that suffering and that overwhelm can come from your very own family, the people that are close to you as well. So you could have a partner who is struggling, and you just can't you feel like you can't help your partner, let alone anyone else, because of the overwhelm of the negative emotions and feeling in your body stuff that, quite frankly, it's just not even for you to manage. I want to tell you that that isn't the way it's supposed to be. Like I said, there is a way that you're supposed to function with these sensitivities. These sensitivities are not meant to make you a victim. These sensitivities are meant to be a superpower. And so this is actually how I opened up to this part of my life, the fullness of the life that I have now. It was, for me, the catalyst was learning that I am an empath. An empath is someone who experiences other people's emotions and thoughts as though they are their own. And you may have that function, or you could be a highly sensitive person who is just very sensitive to the moods. You may not, the distinction there as an empath, it feels when someone else is, say, breaking up or something like that, they feel as that feeling in their own state as though they are having a breakup. Where if a highly sensitive person is having so much empathy, so much sympathy for their friend who is breaking up, that they can feel like really pulled down. They don't think they don't feel as though it's happening exactly to them, but it is still very debilitating. Not to mention, again, what we see on the news and social media and in politics and on and on. So being sensitive to energies too. This is what happens with for people who are highly sensitive people. It's also people that have really sensitive nervous systems. So there's a hard evidential part of this as well. And then also just creative intuitives, highly sensitive intuitives. This is something that we need to learn how to manage and get on top of, because there is a reason that we have these gifts. This is not a malfunction. I remember just thinking my whole life, when someone says like, "Oh, you're so sensitive." And, and they say it that way, right? Jarvis is one of these as well. He's one of these "you're so sensitive" kinds. He's an empath himself. And you're so sensitive. And I feel like, as a woman, we're always afraid we're going to start crying and then I'm always going to think I'm a weak woman. But Jarvis is a big strapping man. And so he had his own unique pain of being called, "You're too sensitive," and like the expectations of what we're supposed to be. And of course, I'm sure you thought this, Jarvis, when people would say to you, "Oh, you're so sensitive." And you're in your mind, you're like, "So I'm supposed to be insensitive?" That doesn't seem like the answer. And it isn't the answer. You're right. And you're also not crazy. But it's not working right. It isn't working that you are in so much suffering on behalf of others that you can't function and that you can't do the healing and show the love that is that you see someone else is not being loving to someone else, and it pains you, and you can't even teach them how to do it because you're in so much pain. That's not how it's supposed to work. And I'm telling you, I've lived it, and it is an ongoing process, but there is an actual function, a proper function of that empathic nature and that sensitivity. And so I'm being very passionate about this because I would love to invite you to take this program with me. It's a 6-week program. I'm teaching it live. So I'm going to be distributing it in a closed Facebook group. There will be live teaching and Q&A. So it's very much like a mentoring coaching program because I'm going to be interacting with you. And for you who are very sensitive, I think that's really important too, to have that kind of interaction. And if you can't, by the way, it is going to be a scheduled event every single week. But if you can't make that live appointment because of your schedule, if you watch it in replay, then you're going to receive the same benefit, and you'll be able to submit questions in advance for me to handle on the live session if you can't participate in the live class. So I've done this program, a version of this program with Crystal Ann Compton, who is the founder of the Lightworkers Lab, and it is amazing. We're doing a spiritual teacher development program right now. And I just can't even tell you how wonderful it is, this kind of coming together to learn and to grow. So please do go check it out. You can check it out on my website, triciacarcharm.com/empath. Again, it's empowered, empath, and highly sensitive intuitive. I would really love to see you there. And it's actually a really affordable price because it's my first every time I do a class for the first time, I have the price a lot lower than it will be in the going forward in the iterations. And you not only do you have access to this training for 6 weeks, but you have access to it on a hard site for a whole year. So you can go back and rewatch the trainings. And there's also community being built there because of the Facebook group and people interacting. So you guys, you got to find your tribe too. Jarvis, right? Having your tribe, having people that you fellowship with who have a similar perspective to you is so important. It makes you feel, otherwise you feel isolated. I remember just saying, I feel like I don't speak the same language as anyone else in the world. I was like, I don't understand. I must really be crazy. And I went to a counselor. This was when I was, I think in my late 20s. I went to a counselor and I told her that. And she's like, "Oh, well, yeah, you do function a lot differently than everyone else." And I was like, "Well, that doesn't help." So she's like, "Yeah, you're weird." bye. No, she was actually trying to help me. But that was how I took it at the time because, I just didn't know what to do with myself. Anyway, so this actually leads right into the topic that I want to discuss today. And I want to let you know that we are taking phone calls, 323-524-2599. If you have questions about your empathic nature or anything else in the spiritual sector, or if you would like for me to give you some counseling or reading, just give me a call, 323-524-2599. And actually, the phone lines are open, so I'm going to go ahead and take a call right now. Hi, you're on the air. Who's this?
Tricia?
Yes. You're Tricia? I'm Tricia.
Hi. No. My name is Peanut.
Oh, hi, Peanut. I think we're Facebook friends, aren't we?
I think so. I think we know each other from Toby.
From Toby, yes. Oh, my gosh. I think we met about, I want to say maybe 7 years ago would be my guess. Yeah, I think it was 7 years ago because I remember the event we met at in Las Vegas, right?
That is very true, yes.
Well, I mean, Peanut's a pretty unique name, so it's easy to remember. You got that going for you. Well, thank you so much for calling. Nice to talk to you. What's going on?
Nothing. I was just seeing if you can kind of give me a little guidance in my life. I don't know, I feel like a little lost, and I just don't know what's kind of going on. Usually I'm a pretty direct person, and I know what I really want, but lately I just have been feeling very off.
Okay, and so I'm feeling, as you're describing it, it feels like a lack of inspiration. Is that
yeah, I mean, definitely. I've kind of changed my job.
Mm-hmm.
If that was the right thing to do, or if I'm going to be successful at it. I don't really know.
Yeah, and so with the job, I was feeling, even before you said that, I felt that there was something different about it, and you're like, well, I like it, but... again, it's not providing kind of a catalytic, kind of inspirational excitement thing, right? And it's not that you regret having changed or going into it right now. It's just lackluster is a way to put it, I think. And so,
absolutely.
But you do, and the thing is that there seems to be, you're more creative, and than the particular job is offering you right now, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So give me just one sec. I'm just going to pop up and ask for some guidance on that. So the first thing that I'm getting is that go ahead and stay with the job, what you've changed to right now. It's fine, and it's going to continue to be fine. So just know that it is safe, and that's okay. It feels like there will be a moderate kind of up-leveling in it, like trajectory. So yeah, you're going to move forward. You're going to become a little more successful, a little more prosperous with it, a little more. But the inspiration part of it feels very much like you have some other passions, and it would be good for you to start. Do you love animals? Is that right?
I do. I love animals.
Okay, so that's not exactly the passion that we're talking about, though. I'm feeling some helping others. There's some helping others that you want to do, but it's like you're you have. It's almost like you have a gift of motivational speaking and coaching. This is something you connect with.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I can feel that in your energy very much. I'm trying to see. So how can Peanut? There's some kind of volunteering or some kind of service that you can be providing. This is why I thought it was animal rescue or something like that, because it's some kind of counseling and motivational speaking that you would do really well to participate in. Professionally, sure, maybe down the line, but right now you feel like you want to stay committed and see where you're going to go through with the particular work that you have, and you have a lot of skill at it, and that's fine. So again, that's fine. But there is a part of your heart that is asking to open up and for you to connect with others. And you have so much wisdom and just charisma. And you have a really kind of infectious energy when you're counseling and when you're guiding people in that way. It would be, oh gosh, what is this? I feel almost like, what is the, let me see if I can pull this out. There's some kind of, maybe it's a spiritual kind of thing. Is there a spiritual component, like if you were to have a meetup so that people could talk about their lives together, and then you could be coaching them? this is what I'm feeling out. It's not exactly like the kind of woo-woo stuff that I do, but it has a very spiritual component to it. Is this something that you are connecting with?
I've never done it. I used to do training.
There it is,
for
training.
hotels, and I did love that.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. But this is more about life training and motivation. And I feel like, so what you're doing for a job, you could start to explore that a little bit. Almost like you could take some of the skills from work because you have that paradigm of having done training in that professional setting. And you could, but it's this coaching element and the training and teaching and inspiring. You're definitely an inspirer. And this is why you're feeling a lack of inspiration right now, because of not having that outlet. That's what your calling is. That's a very bright gift for you. I would say there's the topics that you're very passionate, you're very interested in. I see you reading books. Those kinds of topics you could be using to inspire others. So if you took if you were like consciousness or something like that, whatever you're interested in, and those things that people are needing in their lives. And then you could do something like a meetup and hold like a circle, basically, where you get up and you talk a little bit and then people talk about their life situation and just a support group even. And is this connecting for you? Because I feel like it's something you've never thought of before, but it feels very bright and it feels like the kind of thing that would help you to connect with that inspiration, because you are a teacher. You're an inspirational, motivational type of leader.
Ah, thank you. I mean, I've never thought about that.
But you have.
I don't know, I've just kind of always been a 9-to-5er, and kind of taking a chance, I guess, on myself lately has definitely made me a little uneasy.
Of course, yeah, and that's natural because that's what our human nature is supposed to do. The human nature, like the ego and the body, that's just trying to keep us physically alive, is making sure we don't do new things, because new things are unknown and new things can kill us. You know what I mean? Like that's what the simple ego human nature is like. Oh, we haven't died yet, so let's keep doing the same thing. You know what I mean? But of course, we know that's the lower. We don't want to be just subsisting, just surviving physically. We have to take some risk and live from our higher mind. So, but I feel you seeking out to do some things on the weekend, like putting some meetups together, because you get in front of people and you get in groups, and everyone is just uplifted by your presence, and you know how to just turn that on, like you did with the training. You know how to just turn it on and be the leader and just tap into that source of inspiration and positivity. That could be it, even, because you know how to just turn on that positivity. It could be something as simple as like a positive mindset group. Because I feel like you could write like a 3 different points about how to have a positive mindset and have a meetup, and then and you could just say, here's one thing that you could do to have a positive mindset. Here's another thing. Here's a third thing. And you could talk for like 10 minutes and everybody's lives would be changed. How does that strike you? Positive mindset.
I mean, I would love for that. I would love to help people, and I would love for that to be like an actual thing.
Well, I'm challenging you to even just write down those words: positive mindset, a positive mindset training. You could Google it and see what kinds of content comes up to inspire you. And then meetup. A meetup is free. You just go set that group up online, and you guys can meet at a park. I mean, you live. Where do you live in Las Vegas?
Yeah, I do.
Well, the weather is sometimes nice, so it's a lot of times you can meet at a park. Some other times I know it's brutal. It's probably brutal right now, huh?
It's actually starting to cool down. It's not too bad. It's like
good.
a nice 80-ish.
That's what it's been like here too in Los Angeles. Well, Peanut, please call me back another time. I feel like you're feeling shy about this, like, oh, that sounds really foreign. But I want to tell you that we need you. You have so much charisma and leadership quality that I would love for you to connect with that. Try emphasize a positive mindset training. I think that's something you would connect with really well. You just need a couple of words to be the theme, and you could get going.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Tricia. I wish you all the best. It was good talking to you.
You too. Thank you for calling.
All right. Goodbye.
She's so sweet. And Jarvis, don't you feel how sweet she is and like charismatic? Yeah. But that job's going to work out for her too. So thanks for calling in, Peanut. Do we have more calls? Should I take another one or two? Okay, let's do that. Hi, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hi, it's Wendy.
Hi, Wendy. Are you the Wendy that I know that's in one of my teaching programs right now?
Yeah, yes.
Hi, how are you?
You picked up.
I can feel you too. Well, we've talked on the phone before too, so I'm acquainted with your vibration.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, of course.
Well, what's going on with you today?
Well, I'm sure. I think with all of the eclipses, I feel like I'm almost in the same sort of position as Peanut, just wondering a lot about, relationship and purpose. I feel like I'm on the precipice, but I'm sort of like in this I feel like I'm just trying to pace myself, and I just wanted to see if there's any new news that you could pick up.
Okay, about relationship in particular, like a partnership relationship?
Yeah, let's go there. I think that's really one of the most pressing.
Okay, I feel that the person that is, thank you. I'm saying thank you to angels who gave me the person that is the object of the relationship, the partner that you are connecting with, that you're feeling protective, right? You're not really sure if you feel unsafe because of yourself or because of the other person. Is this right?
Yeah, and there's some situation around it. I guess that I am picking up a lot on probably the person's energy, perhaps.
Yeah.
Feeling like they're going through something, and it's just really confusing in general, because I'm getting signs from my angels that this is a significant person, that there are some obstacles. And to tell you the truth, I'm just getting to the point where I'm tired of obstacles.
Sure.
And so I just need to know, I need some guidance on how to deal with it.
So what I'm getting is it would actually be good to take a break from this person, and not like break up or anything like that, but it like a significant 2-week break of very little communication. Communication isn't as big of a deal. The primary thing is for you to find your own space, your own boundaries, to get into the space where you feel yourself and you feel how wonderful it is to be you and to just be in the heaven that is you. Because right now you can't even feel you. Everything is just, there's it's like I feel how you're feeling you right now, and it's just like swirling colors, you know what I mean? Like I don't know where I am, and it's blurry and it blurs out. Like you don't have the boundaries. And when we talk about boundaries, I don't mean boundaries like defensive, resistant. I'm threatened. It's about, this is where I am. It's like the white picket fence around a house. It isn't like a barrier, a barricade against people. It's just saying, here's our property line. This is us. This is where we live our lives. This is our feeling space. And this is what you're missing right now. I see even in your aura, your auric field has so many holes in it, and you're leaking out of yourself. And so, yes, the obstacles that you're feeling, yes, there are obstacles in this relationship, but you can't really feel powerful with the obstacles that are happening with yourself or in the relationship until you get into that feeling space. And so far as the relationship is concerned, there's too much blur. You're experiencing their challenges, and you can't do anything about it. You can't rescue them because you have to do. Everybody has to do their own work, but you're feeling it as if it's your own problem because you're an empath, by the way, and you can't you can't do anything about it. But you're also not tending to your own space or your own garden. So a 2-week break. Spending in it can be just 10 minutes a day. And if you could just meditate on, this is my space and I am love. This is me and I am love. And you know that intellectually, because I know how spiritually advanced you are. You know intellectually that you are love, right? And sometimes you don't feel that,
right? But
you know that. So you can say that, affirmation, I am love, and allow it to be because you know it intellectually. And sometimes our mental, our intelligence can support us if our spiritual side, our spiritual body is feeling weakened or emotional body, just using our intelligence can support us for a bit. So do you think you can do that? Do you think you can take that challenge to,
of course,
take a break?
I mean, it's kind of like Spirit is making that, it's a necessity at this point anyway, and that's what I've chosen to do, is just back away from it.
Yeah.
Can you tell me if what I'm getting, if this is a significant relationship for me?
Well,
is this person, like, I feel like I've known them in a past life before. I feel like we're really connected. I don't want to say twin soul, but I've been seeing 1111 a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm getting that message from, like, the angels.
Right.
So that's sort of like this double thing going on. Like, okay, I understand, and I've, like, put myself in a place of preparation, trying to do that more and more consciously, and backing away. So that is there, and I've gotten that very strongly. But do I need to let it go?
Well, this
completely.
is what you want to do right now, is to ease yourself into the possibility of letting it go. So don't worry about that right now. That's overwhelming. Do I need to let it go? That question is too much. So right now, the easy thing to do is say a break for 2 weeks. But it has to be really definitive. And it doesn't mean, again, it doesn't have to do with how clean if it's easier for you, then no communication. But if that feels weird, then just make a really definitive shift inside of you that whatever the communication is, you're not doing the same habit. It's like, even if I communicate with this person, it's kind of like no communication. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? But you give yourself that 2 week break, and you don't have to make any decisions about it. The question, is it a significant relationship? Yes, absolutely. Of course. Because right now, what's happening is significant. And so we have the opportunity, when something, even if it's a big, painful challenge, that is significant. We have the opportunity to orient back to love. And love is so strong that as soon as we identify with it, the big, painful challenge becomes the thing that was supposed to happen. Not because it actually on the other side of it was supposed to happen, but because love is that powerful, and it can make a wrong right when we identify with it. So the identity to love right now that you need to do is to loving yourself, and getting deep into the core of you, and letting that light shine out and exude out, so that it's not even like your white picket fence. It's what's going to happen is the light that you're going to expand from within you becomes so solid, so dense and bright that, when you look at a street light in a really dark city, and then the street light is glowing out, and it looks like it's solid. The light looks like it's texture, and it's you know what I mean? It's full. That's what this is, the light. And it feels like you put something inside that light, it disappears because the light overcomes it. A bug flies into the light. You don't see the bug anymore. This is what needs to happen with you expanding your light and identifying with the fact that you are composed of love. So is this a long-term relationship? At this point, it can be a long-term relationship in a painful way. Yes. Because that's where it is right now, right? It's not comfortable. It's not it's not a safe bond. It's not and it's not that person's fault or anything like that. That isn't for us to decide. So we need to make a shift and a decision on our own. And since, for example, I could feel that this isn't like someone that you have children with, you know what I mean? Like those kinds of ties where it makes it so much more challenging. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy for you to just not have communication for a couple of weeks to get into your space, and to understand that your emotional habits have been poor, quite frankly. Just to give you a little bit of tough love, the habits that you've been exercising with this person are poor, and they're unhealthy. And even though most of it happens all on your own, and you're not even together, it's still poor. They're poor habits, and they're not. And you're not. It's like if you were eating McDonald's every day. Girl, you can't. That's why the name of this episode, I haven't even mentioned it yet, is You Are What You Vibrate, which is a play on you are what you eat. Because right now you are eating, or you are vibrating to this person's pain and challenge. So you are that.
I didn't really realize I was so much, but I do feel it for sure.
You can feel it right now, right? You can feel, oh my gosh, how much of this...
And it's,
and you're like...
It's putting that light on it. I think I was just kind of unconsciously going on, but being very aware of it is pretty acute. And yeah, you're right. Like, I've got to step back.
Just start with a 2-week
And I
break.
appreciate that.
And if it needs
putting
to,
that light on that.
Sure. Start with a 2-week break. Start with 10 minutes a day of meditating on I am love and seeing your light. It's so simple. It's a simple little meditation that the angels are prescribing for you. Sitting in silence, I am love, and I know you're clairvoyant, seeing your light just shine, intensify at your core, and then shining out really brightly like that street light in the middle of a dark night. And it's so simple. 2 things. I am love, seeing your light shine for 10 minutes a day for those 2 weeks. And you're just going to fall so in love with yourself that then when you do fall so in love with yourself, you may actually be able to be a help to this person, but that's not the end goal. That's often is the benefit. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
right.
And then you'll be like, okay, well, I'm meant to help this person, but not be in a relationship. There are all kinds of, the only thing that really needs to happen is you connecting with yourself and allowing that light of yours to shine out really brightly. And Wendy, I would encourage you to take that empowered empath course with me. And it's in partnership.
Yeah, I'm planning on it.
Okay, good. It's in partnership with the Lightworkers
I feel
Lab.
like I thought, as soon as you think you master something comes to test you, and I'm trying not to go back into a pattern.
Yeah.
So yes, that is a plan to take that course. I think
okay, good. Yeah.
being so highly sensitive, and really not even, just getting back to myself and knowing what's me and what's not has become very apparent with this relationship.
I understand. I know. And then see how if we decide what good can come of this, then that relationship did become a really positive, even if it was to catalyze you into taking care of yourself and chucking that person out of your life, it's still a very significant, beautiful blessing when we choose to see it as such, when we choose that, well, this is just helping me maybe it's helping me to hit rock bottom and how my emotional hygiene has been off. You know what I mean? Great. Beautiful. I'm grateful for it. Yeah. But you don't have to make the decision right now.
I love that. What good can come of this? I'm going to plaster that on my wall.
Oh, good. All right. Well, thank you so much for calling, Wendy. And
Thank you so much.
I'll be communicating. We'll be connecting this week in our other training.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. I needed a little adjustment.
Good.
I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Bye.
Bye-bye now. Well, I actually want to share a little bit more about what this topic of the show is, and Wendy's really helping us with that. You are what you vibrate. And I'm also calling this functional empathy part 2. I see so many of those of us who are very, compassionate and naturally very sensitive, creative people. And I'm not just talking about people that are into intuitive abilities, mediumship and angels and all that kind of stuff that we're into, this metaphysical kind of side of it. I have friends in the arts, and artists are spiritual teachers. Artists are, that's just the end. That's what it is, because the creativity that you bring forth as an artist is a spiritual work. And so I see this with friends of mine who are artists, and they are just debilitated by recognizing the pain in the world and in their own social group as well. And so, again, if you are recognizing, this is why it's so painful, because you came in with the sensitivity so that you could remember love, so that you could present love to the world and be an example of love. But what we do when we are in pain because of the suffering that we recognize is we are paying attention to the lack of love. We are vibrating to the lack of love. So everything is energy, right? And so we can't possibly, just like a radio signal, we can't possibly experience anything unless we share a frequency with it, an energetic frequency. Just like, the tower of 106.7 is broadcasting Kevin and Bean in the morning, and I have to turn my radio dial to it. If you guys still listen to analog radio, not many people do. We're all up on the internet. But this is what it is in real life. That isn't just a metaphor. And it's exactly what happens in this experience. My body is just a denser form of energy. And so everything that I experience, that I am recognizing, I am vibrating to. That's what that means. And when we talk about raising our vibration, the highest vibration is love. And that's why you're in pain when you're recognizing the suffering. Now, here's the thing that's really confusing when we're in that place, that state of being in a lot of pain because of the devastation from, let's say, Hurricane Harvey, because that's pretty recent. And this is, if you're listening much further down the line, that is a terrible storm that hit Houston, and many people lost everything. So this doesn't mean to be apathetic. It doesn't mean when we choose to recognize the love instead of recognizing the pain, it doesn't mean we stop caring for them. It doesn't mean we are abandoning them or feeling apathy toward their pain, toward their suffering. This is the problem, when the confusion that when we're in that place of overwhelm, we think, well, like Jarvis and I did when we were little, well, am I supposed to be insensitive if you tell me I'm too sensitive? That's actually not the adjustment. The adjustment is my friend, and this literally happened, lost everything, her entire home. She had a 2-story home, and it was submerged up to the whole first floor was submerged in the waters from the hurricane. And they lost everything. Her family lost everything except for the physical lives, except for all of the people and the animals. Thank God. Everybody was rescued. But they don't have, they lost all of their belongings. So for me to see what's going on with my friend and to fall into my bed in pain and crying about it, and this actually isn't helping her. What helps her is for me to realize that they're going to make it, to recognize their light and to pay attention to the love around the situation and to believe in their success through it. When there was this point with this particular friend where they had to leave their animals behind in their home for a couple of days because there was no way to rescue them. They came along and they were rescuing people, and they said only people. Horrifying. I mean, can you imagine? They made it. They were fine. They were able to visit them and take care of them and keep them fed. But when I first heard about that, I thought at first I was like, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. And I was like, wait. Because I was taking on that pain and experiencing it as though it was happening to me in a very real way. And I was like, that is not the way I'm going to be able to be helpful. And I'm not literally there with her physically, but that we don't have to be in order to help others. So I went and I meditated, and I kind of did what I was telling Wendy. I just connected with love in a very pure way. And then I believed that they were going to be safe and they were going to be back together. And they did. And am I saying, oh, I'm God, I did it? Well, I didn't not do it. And all of the other people who were in prayer and holding space and having belief for them actually kept them strong. And I do believe, because everything is connected entirely, that all of that love energy healed, and all of that love energy did actually bring that family back together. And if nothing else, there was no way that me being in suffering about it in my home in California was helping anyone. As Abraham Hicks says, you can't get poor enough to help someone else out of poverty. You can't get sick enough to help someone else become well, and that is true. Let's take that example. If someone is sick, what good would it do for you to become sick also? You need to be your healthiest in order to take care of them and to see the resolutions that would bring them back into health. You need to be able to go out and get the medicines. You need to be able to get them fluids and take care of them. This is not just a metaphor. This is literally what we are meant to do with our emotional state as well. And I'll just tell you one other thing. The reason we are seeing so much of this malfunction of our empathic nature, I heard Crystal Ann Compton say this, who's my friend, and the founder of the Lightworkers Lab. Everyone go join the Lightworkers Lab if you're seeking a spiritual community. It's amazing. But she said, in response to someone who was talking about how much pain they're feeling over the world events and suffering, she said, that, and my husband recently told me about this, she says, that we actually are only capable, there are studies that show we're only capable of caring for a village worth of beings. And we evolve very slowly compared to like the technology that we have going on. We're not supposed to be sitting at computers we still have an appendix, by the way, and we haven't needed an appendix for tens of thousands of years, I think. Our bodies we actually physically evolve very slowly, but the physical part of it is also like our mind and just how we exist, And we, of course, before we had all of this technology, we took care of a village. We cared for a village. But now we have in our pockets the entire world. And we have news, which are sales organizations, trying to provoke in us a painful response so that they can sell us stuff, y'all. I'm not even kidding. That is literally, and don't get mad at the media. We all set it up. We all voted on this. We all said, hey, news, I pay you a lot of attention when you tell me to cry over an old lady getting robbed. And, oh, there's a product I can buy that's along with it. We all set this up. We all voted on this system. So don't hate the system. Just take care of yourself as how you are participating in the system. And I mean, stop watching the news because it isn't helping you. Or if you do watch the news, you have to be in that place of high vibration of knowing that, okay, I see that this is happening. And now I'm going to believe in that person's light. I'm going to believe in this community's well-being. And I'm going to support them and hold them up in that way. That is how empathy functions properly. That is how compassion shows up on this plane. That is how love is recognized. We understand that in quantum physics tells us that where we place our attention, that the object will change. That energy expands and changes. So then we should be placing our awareness on love, not the lack of love. Just trust that simple duality, that simple dichotomy, and switch to the love. In believing in the love of the situation and believing in the fact that you are composed of love and that everything that you are coming into alignment with, I wonder what good can come of this. I wonder how this is connecting me to love. I wonder how this is expanding love because I just want to find the love. I just want to recognize the goodness and the vitality and the wellness. That's how we help each other. That is functional empathy. Because again, you are what you vibrate. So if you are bringing the vibration of love into this field, everybody else is affected by that. If you are bringing the vibration of lack of love, of suffering, and you're recognizing that, everyone else is affected by it. It's that simple. You may think, if you're a skeptic, you may think, well, this girl is just a simpleton. I've lived it. I've lived the hardest part of it. I've lived being in my bed suffering because I saw someone else hurt someone else. And then how many other people must that person hurt? And people don't get it. I mean, you go crazy. It doesn't help. And that did not get me up on the radio telling you guys how much I love you, but orienting to love did. And so I want to just challenge you guys to just say, where is the love? To say, I am identifying, I'm choosing love, I'm paying attention to love, and I am love. Love. Jarvis, I love you. All right. Well, that is just about our show today. Again, please go to my website, triciacarcharm.com/empath. If this is resonating you in any way and you want to learn how you can be the light in the world, you can be peace on earth, because we don't end war by hating war. We end war by loving peace. I think it was also Mother Teresa said, someone asked her, why don't you go to anti-war rallies? And she said, well, I'm not interested in those. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not interested in those, but when they have a pro-peace rally, I will be there. So let's all create a pro-peace rally right now in our hearts. And then you'll go out to the store and you'll be shining and exuding peace to the person who is in line next to you. And then that is actually going to do the healing. And that's going to be the empathy that is functional. You are what you vibrate. And so we'll see you again next week. You can follow me on social media at Tricia Carr Charm is how you can find me, triciacarcharm.com. And the registration for my Empowered Empath and Highly Sensitive Intuitive course, all levels of intuitive development. You don't even have to be one who considers yourself an intuitive, but if you are feeling overwhelmed with your empathic nature at all, I ask you to please go and check it out. Class starts on the 19th, and you can sign up. Enrollment will be open until the 25th. And I will see you next week at 11 a.m. Pacific or on YouTube and on any of the podcast outlets. I'm Tricia Carr. Thank you for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.